My name is Sarah. Welcome to the It Is a Sarah podcast. I start my vloggy episode today with some unboxing. I just received a package in the mail and I'm very excited because I know what is in it, but it's always a heart-jumping, exciting moment when you can unwrap the package. This one is really wrapped beautiful. I always love it when shop owners take the time to make such beautiful orders, and I will definitely save the paper and I think also the postcard for some reuse. I ordered for the first time at Studio Solas, an online yarn shop based in the Netherlands. The shop owner Vera is a yarn dyer and a project bag maker. Her online shop is filled with all the most beautiful yarns and other stuff, and the theme of her shop is definitely sustainability, so yeah, I love that. I wanted to order at Studio Solas, and when Vera released her winter collection last week, I knew this was the moment. A beautiful hand-dyed Icelandic yarn, DK weight. I ordered several skeins. Not all are hand-dyed, I must confess. The always smell on your yarn. It smells delicious. I really love the label of Studio Solas. It's so beautiful, and I love this style. This beautiful color is called brown, and this one is hand-dyed, and I fell in love with it immediately. It's just a beautiful shade of brown. This one is actually quite special. I'm not specifically a grey lover, but this color grey is also hand-dyed and was called Winter Sky, and I love winter skies. So I needed that one too. The lighter and the darker yarns are undyed, a beautiful dark brown and a beautiful beige, which was a little bit more grayer as I thought, but I think I can still combine them, and it is my plan to make a sleeveless vest of it. I also ordered some handmade buttons. They are made from oak tree branches and I really love them. This was such a beautiful order. The love Vera put in it, I can feel it, so I cannot wait to make something beautiful out of these lovely yarns and buttons. I am still having so much fun with my 50 stripe shawl. It is a pattern by a Dutch designer. Her name is Bregina, and this pattern is only available in a kit you can buy in her web shop, which I will link down below. It was my plan to knit a stripe every day. I didn't make that completely, but quite often I do, and it's just a relaxing moment. I think knitting color work is so satisfying. I always feel in balance when I'm knitting color work. Stranded knitting, one yarn in the left hand and one yarn in the right hand, and it feels so good. I must confess, this way of knitting stranded color work doesn't go very fast, and because of that I did several tries to practice continental stranded knitting, holding both yarns in my left hand. Although I did take some time to practice, it never became my way. So I think it's just not meant to be. I knit stranded color work very fast, and it's actually quite logical because I'm really enjoying this and we don't want to end that pretty fast. So this is how I knit my color work, and sometimes I manage to do some more flicking style with my right hand, but not today, as you can see. I replaced a lot of colors which came in the kit for different shades of brown, mainly brown, and I really love how it comes out. I decide every stripe which color combination I will use, and I'm really happy how it works out. I think there's a very nice balance between Sarah staying in her comfort zone and Sarah getting a little bit out of her comfort zone. I mean, do you see the purple stripe? That's really not my color, but I love it in my shawl. So I really enjoy this daily stranded knitting moment and I want it the rest of my life. I think knitting a stranded shawl is so satisfying because it's so easy, nothing needs to be done, only knitting the color work. It is endless and yeah, it is so much fun. You can knit all your scraps away and you have a perfect shawl or cowl. I pronounce it right now for yourself or for someone else as a gift. Something very unexpected is going to be on my needles in a minute. I will knit a very bright pink cashmere small scarf. Who would have thought that? Okay, hello, hello. It is Tuesday evening, around 8 o'clock, I think. I'm sorry for the light, it's very bad at the moment. This is my IKEA light. It's perfect for knitting, but not for filming. Let's put it the other way. Oh no, I need it. I am working on the Sophie scarf for my mother-in-law. It's very bright pink. Let's turn the camera. I am knitting with Cardiff cashmere. Um, I doubted which pattern I wanted to knit, and I did some research this afternoon, and there are a lot of lovely small scarves, but I came back at the Sophie scarf every time. It's just, I think, the combination of garter stitch with the I-cord. I really love the look and the feeling of garter stitch, and yeah, I decided to start with this one, and maybe I will fall in the rabbit hole, down into the rabbit hole of the small scarves. But there is a little problem. Somehow I thought this Sophie scarf was knitted in a fingering weight yarn, and it is knitted in a fingering weight yarn, only in a fingering weight yarn held double. So it's actually a DK weight gauge, 22 stitches, and it surprised me. And I doubted what to do. I decided to start how the pattern tells you to. I am knitting on DPNs, 3mm needles. My gauge is quite tight. It's confusing me because the pattern suggests 3.5mm needles. I always need to go down a needle size. And especially with cashmere and garter stitch, I thought, yeah, don't knit with a too loose gauge because my shawl will grow. It will have so much drape that it will be 1 meter at least. I actually don't know what the end measurements are. But I don't know. I think it's so thick. I completely understand why it's so popular right now because it's a very easy knit. I must confess, I'm very pleased how quick I could knit the pattern without making any notes, only the stitch markers. Normally it takes a little bit more time, but yeah, I have the rhythm already. But I don't like the feeling of this as a small scarf. So now I am casting on with one 2.5 needle and one strand of cashmere, and I have no idea if it will work out. We shall see, but I have quite uh, some hurry. I have a deadline and it's quite close to that deadline, so I will knit and I hope I will know. I was doubting to make a bigger one, but I only have one ball. I can buy one more. I don't know what to do with it, so I will keep you updated. Pink is a theme in my knitting life this week. Today I will finish the very bright pink socks for my 4-year-old niece. I'm closing the toe with the Kitchener stitch. I use the pattern Basic Socks for Kids from LettKnit from Bente Skeide, and I really recommend that pattern for socks for kids because it is very clear, very helpful. A ribbed leg, knit to, purl to, and a straight foot. With a heel flap and gusset, and I hope the fit will be all right. I don't know yet. I didn't do a quick fit, but I hope they will be okay. Made some progress on my second try of the Sophie Scarf, and that one is so much better. I know now I made a mistake in reading the pattern. Holding the yarn double was only recommended for one specific yarn and not for all the yarns. So I will frog my first try. I am home alone, and yeah, I don't know how your experience is, but frogging a project which you have knitted with the yarn held double when you are home alone can be quite challenging. But I am not afraid of a challenge every now and then, so I have all the trust that I will manage this successfully. I must confess, I'm not the most patient person. Yeah, actually, I'm quite impatient, but I think these kind of activities are some mental brain training to keep your patience. I think, yeah, it is good to practice that every now and then. Last week I had an unplanned but so much fun trip to two of the most beautiful yarn shops we have in the Netherlands. In the middle of the country there is a small village which is called Driebergen, and there you can find them. I was together with Kitty, a lovely, very young Dutch knitter. We started at Trollenwol, a beautiful yarn shop well known for its sustainable yarns. The new fresh shop owner, Julia, took over the shop at the beginning of 2026 from former owner Marja. Both women share their love for sustainable, fair yarns, so this shop is very well stocked with them. You can find all the beautiful yarns from Scandinavian countries, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, also some wool from the Shetlands, and I think even more, but I can't remember everything. The store looks so well organized. It's a very light space. It was a very sunny day, as you probably can see, so that's always very nice when you are searching for some nice color combinations. In the store, you find all those small chalkboards with all the information about every yarn quality you need when you are searching for the perfect yarn for your project. I think this is very helpful. And also a lot of samples. I fell in love with this small baby sweater, the nice cables. Oh, I love it. But it's also very nice that there are a lot of samples so you can feel and you can see, a lot of books, a big table to knit together, and also a lot of yarn. Julia is a Waldorf doll maker, so there was a special corner with all the things you need for making some Waldorf dolls. They are adorable, and also other stuff, all kinds of accessories you need to make your life as woolly as possible, I guess. Yeah, really nice and interesting. It was my plan to buy one sweater quality in each store we would visit today, and it was really a challenge because I wanted to bring everything with me. There was so much beautiful yarn. I managed to pick one color for a specific sweater project I will knit one day in this beautiful beige, heathered beige, and I am very happy with this. After spending a few hours in Trollenwol, we went next door to Schaapjeswol. Schaapjeswol is a new store in the same street, and it is actually owned by the former shop owner from Trollenwol. She opened a brand new store, very cozy and very special. She only sells Dutch yarn. Shop owner Marja is definitely a woman with a mission. She wants to bring back Dutch yarn to the Dutch knitters, and she wants it as local as possible. In the Netherlands, the yarn, which comes from our sheep, is quite often seen as a waste product. No one is really interested in it, so quite often it goes to other countries for other goals or even to be burned. At the same time, Dutch knitters are getting their yarns from all the other countries, Scandinavian countries, but also when you are working with commercial yarns, even from further away. And that actually doesn't really make sense. So Marja is working very hard to get her shop filled with the most beautiful local Dutch yarns. And it's very local from the middle of the Netherlands, the Utrechtse Heuvelrug, where she lives and where her shop is. And they know very detailed where their yarn is coming from. So they are very sure the animals are well treated, the yarn is good, it is really fair, sustainable Dutch yarn. I'm really impressed by Marja's story and also by her yarn, so I feel really motivated to knit beautiful things with typical Dutch yarn, and this one came home with me. Schaapjeswol is actually quite hard to pronounce for English-speaking people, I think, or maybe other countries as well. The Dutch word for sheep is schaap. As you can see, there are the most beautiful hand-dyed colors. They dye them themselves. There's Kitty, she also bought some lovely yarns. They dye the yarns themselves, and it's really a family Marja's husband was winding all the skeins. He made up a very clever way of automizing the yarn winding process, which I really love. I need that at home as well. It is very accurate. And also he makes the most beautiful and most softest wooden buttons I have ever felt, and the most lovely wooden stitch markers. I also spoke to Marja's daughter. She owns 9 Angora rabbits, and they live at her home, and they have a beautiful blend. And I forgot to film it because I was so impressed by her story. They make the most beautiful blend of Angora rabbit yarn. How do you say it? Angora rabbit hair. Combined with merino yarn, and it is the softest. And the Angora rabbits, they are adorable. I brought some with me for my mom as a birthday gift. Maybe I will show it later. After filling all our bags with yarn and leaving all our money in the shops, we decided to picnic in the forest quite close. Driebergen is in the middle of the Netherlands, and it is lovely, but driving home at the end of the afternoon is a disaster because there are traffic jams on the highway everywhere. So we wanted to avoid those traffic jams and decided to picnic. It was lovely weather, and I was with the camper van. Everything we need was in it. After all the lovely yarn shop excitement, it was time to unwind a bit. We really needed that, and this was the perfect spot for that.
Oh, drinken heb ik niet zoveel. Ik kan thee water maken. Ja, ik heb ook water. Ja, water is prima. Ja. Ik kan thee maken, maar misschien is het ook wel goed zo.
We enjoyed our food and some lovely conversations, and when it got dark, we got back into the camper van and did a shop log. It was really nice to show all the yarn and all the things we brought with us. We are talking in Dutch, so it's not really interesting for this part of the podcast, but if you want to view the whole conversation, you can check my Dutch episode and maybe you can watch it. There are subtitles, so I don't know if it's interesting to listen. But we are very, very happy with this addition to our HeartJumping yarn stash, and I think I can speak for both of us that we can't wait to start knitting with it. When we finished this conversation, we drove back home, and yeah, it was absolutely a HeartJumping day together with lovely Kitty. Back home, I found a sweater in my daughter's wardrobe. I knitted it for her quite some years back, and she doesn't wear it. It is too fitted for her, so I wanted to wear it myself. I gave it a wash, and I remembered suddenly how much this yarn is pilling. It is a Petite knit pattern. I really love the pattern. I knitted it in a beautiful shade of Sandness Sunday, which is discontinued, but look, the pilling. I am very disappointed in the pilling, so it needs a good depill, but not today. I don't like doing that. Hello, hello! I have a finished object I want to share. I only have a minute before someone's coming home, I guess, so we are in a little bit of a hurry. I am wearing my Felix cardigan, which is not my finished object. It's quite an old cardigan, but as you can see, I'm wearing it a little bit in a weird way. Suddenly this morning, I realized I am always bothered by those corners of the raglan neckline. And I am planning, I hope I have some time for that this afternoon. I am working on my sock cardigan. I want to cut the corners off, make a new button band, so I can turn the raglan into a V-shaped cardigan. And I was wearing this one yesterday and today, and suddenly I thought, I need to do that with this one too. If it will be successful on my sock cardigan, I will do some sweater surgery, or actually cardigan surgery, on my Felix. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I have a finished object. It's not blocked yet. This is the Sophie Scarf for my mother-in-law for her birthday. I never felt the need to jump on the small scarf train. I think I am jumping right into the small scarf rabbit hole right now because I was knitting with Cardiff cashmere, one ball of 25 gram. It was my plan to knit it away, spread it in half. I was using my kitchen scale, but somehow I have this left over, but it's okay because it is the perfect length. I didn't follow the pattern. They have 2 sizes. I only 1 strand because I was a little bit confused. Does it use 1 strand or 2 strands of yarn? I still don't know. I started with 2 strands because I thought that's a quick knit, but I didn't like the look of it, and this is perfect. So the length I didn't measure yet. I hope I can add it to my Ravelry notes. I just finished it. It's fresh from the needles, and I made it this way. And suddenly I thought, oh no, this was something I didn't really like. I love the look of it on other people, but it was not something I need in my life. But I'm afraid it's changing because somehow it's feeling so nice and warm and soft, and it's very cute. And I never felt a desire to have a small scarf in my wardrobe. And now I want them in all the colors. Oh, am I? Yeah, so I think it's very nice. Especially because I love the open, wider necklines. And it's just so... It feels so good. It feels so good. I love the look as well, but the feeling, it is just perfect. So now I want a brown one and a black one. Maybe even a pink one. No, I don't want a pink one. It was my plan to turn it into a headband, skip the point, just increase until quite a narrow width, and then knit straight all the way, measure with one of my favorite headbands, so I can tie it around my head, like this one. Here we go. I'm falling into a rabbit hole. Don't have time for that, but we will do it anyway. Okay, my second pink Sophie Scarf is already on my needles, only a few minutes later. I think it's a leftover, a little scrappy yarn, Bio Balance, I guess, I'm not sure. But let's start with some blocking. I have a little blocking tub filled with a lot of pink and also some other stuff. The socks for my little niece, my Sophie Scarf for my mother-in-law, and a little bit of swatching for a very exciting crochet project also for my niece. While those things are relaxing in their blocking bath, I do some measuring on my Stakit cardigan. I'm really making some good progress. Spring is really happening in the Netherlands, so I feel a little bit of a hurry to finish this cardigan, and I want to measure the body. I'm not quite sure how long I want it to be, so I'm measuring it with some cardigans I already have. It will be a little bit of an oversized cardigan, so I think it's a good idea to add enough length. Don't make it cropped, but just a big oversized cardigan, the same as those 2 cardigans. I think I will go for the length of the green one because my vintage one is actually really long, and the green one is something I can wear as a throw over cardigan over other sweaters and dresses, and also when my girls want to wear it, it is possible, I guess. So only 1 brown stripe and some ribbing and the body is done. Usually I put my blocked items in the spin cycle program of the washing machine, but because these items are very small, that doesn't make sense, so I will do the good old-fashioned way with an old towel to press all the water out of it. I pin my Sophie Scarf down. I don't think that was really necessary, but I love the garter stitch fabric to be stretched out just enough, not too much, but just enough for a nice shape. And I think it works pretty well. The socks for my little niece get the same treatment. I don't think it's really necessary to block your socks. Maybe when there is a specific stitch pattern, it will have a nice effect. But with these socks, it's actually not necessary, but I love to clean them anyway. And also put them on a sock blocker for some nice pictures and a nice shape. Is making me really happy. It's actually a HeartJumping thing to do, so I always block my socks. I have the best sock blockers from Alchemy Knits, and I will share more about that in, I think, an episode later this month or maybe next month. The bright pink sock yarn is dyed by a Dutch dyer. Her name is Eve, made by Eve, and it's the perfect shade for a 4-year-old girl who loves pink. I'm also swatching a crochet project, which is very exciting, with the African flower. I'm working with some super soft yarns, and I wanted to know how it would block out. And also the yarn for the last round, I was blocking one tiny strand of yarn to see what would happen after removing the spin oil. And of course, I will keep you updated about this project in my coming episodes. I really am looking forward to start with this one, but I need to buy a new crochet hook. I need a really tiny one, and I don't have it. As you can see, it is quite a big mess in our bedroom, also known as my knitting office. We don't own a drying machine for the laundry, so that's not a problem, actually not. I do one laundry a day. I learned that from the Fly Lady method. One laundry a day keeps gales away, and it works pretty good. But since a few years, our son is studying in a Belgian city, and he lives there in a student house during the week. And he comes home every Friday night with a big bag filled with all his laundry, and it needs to be washed and dried at Sunday night when he goes back to his student house. We live in quite a small house, so during the weekends we need all the space to dry all the laundry. Especially in autumn and winter, it can be challenging. In spring and summer, the laundry can dry outside, and the smell of that is delicious, and it goes way quicker as well. So this was it for this week. I will finish the laundry, do some organizing and cleaning, and then I will go back to my knitting because I absolutely prefer doing that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I wish you a wonderful week filled with a lot of HeartJumping moments. And remember, if you can't find them, create them because we need them. Bye bye.